Hey, it's Mark Shepard for It's Not Just About the Food.com and HypnosisAlbany.com. And today, also CrushAnxiety.com. This message really goes for all of those different areas I work in. And it's about the purpose problem. What is your purpose problem? And when I talk about a purpose problem, it's the problem that just grinds you down, wears you out, the problem that nags you, that just keeps poking at you, pestering you, until you finally do something about it. Now, the process of it is interesting because, and this shows up a lot with weight loss, because it's like you keep trying to do all these external things. It's like these diets, these, new exercise program, and all of those are helpful, and I'm not saying they're not helpful. It's just that it's not the real issue. And if you solved the weight problem easily, so let's say, you go on, I'm overweight, okay, I'll just go on a paleo diet, and a month later you've dropped 30 pounds and you're happy and da-da-da. No, it doesn't work like that, because ultimately you have been eating the way you've been eating, chances are to soothe some deep wound, some pain. We come into this world, and as children, it seems like, and I don't know if this is quote-unquote true, but it seems like we experience things in our childhood that kind of set us up for doing our personal healing work later on in life. And if you get through the purpose problem too fast, too easily, then you're not motivated to keep working. Do you know what I mean? It has to be a problem that's big enough so that it engages you enough, and that you've tried enough times and failed, so that you're like, you know what, I'm going to figure this out, or I'm going to die trying. It's like that intense. It's like, no matter what, I know I'm going to have roadblocks. I know I'm going to have challenges. I'm just going to keep at it till I freaking find it's like this energy that you bring to it. And for me, my eating wasn't the purpose problem. For me, the purpose problem was I had all these songs that I could not seem to save my soul to get out. I just couldn't get them out into the world to save my life. And ultimately, getting them out into the world and my commitment to doing that did save my life, to kind of play with words a little bit. And it was the thing where, I started out, I went to an energy healer, and I worked with her for like 5 years. And what happened was the life I'd created, I'd bought a bunch of houses for nothing down at the top of the 1980s real estate bubble. And I was doing that so that I could make enough money to provide for my children and, keep a roof over our heads, and hopefully have enough extra to record all my songs. That was always my goal. I just want to record all my songs, because this is my life's work. And I don't write down the music. So if I'm gone, it's gone. So I want to preserve it. That was a motivating thing, but I had no energy. I had a bunch of limiting beliefs. I was horrible in relationships because I took everything personally. And so it was all these different things that I wouldn't have worked on if, I did a little bit of work and suddenly my music was successful. I just wouldn't have done that work. Something else would have come in, maybe. But ultimately, it's like the spirit, and I mean this in the biggest sense of the term, the spirit, not the Holy Spirit, but whatever that spirit is, whatever the universe is, whatever the energy that animates us is, that spirit kind of tricks us into going for our deepest, highest good. But we are lazy. I mean, most animals are programmed to kind of go to the path of least resistance, which is why animals make trails in the forest, right? You don't want to walk through the underbrush. That's hard work. You go where there's a trail, right? So our neurology creates trails of experience and habit and routine. And as many spiritual paths talk about, it's about eliminating those routines. It's about stalking yourself. It's about taking this thing that you call a problem and realizing, okay, this is actually an opportunity. It may have been, there may be a horrible story, there may be trauma, there may be abuse, there may be tragedy, there may be great loss. But ultimately, that's a story that if it motivates you to actually go deep and work on the stuff, like on the other side of it is this incredible experience where every day unfolds magically, and where you begin to gather more energy to yourself, and you become healthier and healthier, and suddenly, the brownies don't look that good. Suddenly, Ben and Jerry's pints are something that you can share with 10 people. It's not like, oh, that's mine. All of a sudden these things begin to drop away. But the question is, and I have this so often with my weight loss people, so if you are a weight loss client of mine, please listen carefully to this. I had a woman last week, after her first appointment, she was like, well, I'm still craving sugar, but I lost 2 pounds. Well, okay, so after one session, you lost 2 pounds, but you're not done. Okay, that doesn't mean hypnosis failed you, right? It means that this is a purpose problem. This is something that is big enough to engage your full warrior spirit. And unless you're willing to do that, you're going to blame the hypnotist, you're going to blame the therapist, you're going to blame the coach, you're going to blame the weather, you're going to blame your body, you're going to blame your parents, you're going to blame your ancestors, you're going to blame your genetics. But it's not until we go, okay, the buck stops here. Who puts the food in my mouth? Who is that? Oh, it's me, right? And for my anxiety clients, who is thinking the thoughts about the things you don't want to have happen that's causing you to freak yourself out? I have a wonderful client I'm working with now, and he has anxiety about our sessions. So if you have anxiety about working with the guy that's going to help you solve anxiety, well, that's a hell of a big purpose problem. And I have ultimate compassion for every one of you, because for me it was my music, and I worked and I worked and I worked. I started writing songs, really good songs, in the 1970s. By 1978, when I was 18, I was writing songs that I can still play today on a stage anywhere, and people would go, wow, that's a really good song. That was in 1978. It is now 2014. I could say, well, all this personal development work that I was doing on myself, it didn't work, but it did work. And thank God it took me so long, because along the way I kept going back to learning more tools, back to working on myself. Every time I would try and fail, I would get back up, dust myself off, and I would get back into it, And that pattern, that process has helped me in every other area, including how I take care of my body. I went to a personal trainer 4 years ago now. Maybe it was 3 years ago. And I worked with him for 6 months without losing a single pound. But because I had my training and my experience, I knew, okay, you know what? I'm actually feeling stronger. So something's happening, even if I don't notice it. So that's the key today is, one, you have a purpose problem. It may be weight loss. It may be anxiety. It may be insomnia. It may be a phobia. The thing that just keeps, you just pounds on you, pesters you. It's like a kid pulling on your, Mom, the house is on fire. Dad, come on. And you're like, go away, 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 go away. Until finally your unconscious mind has to scream at you like, hey, we're going to die if you don't do something. It's like, that's the purpose problem. And I felt like with my music, if I didn't do something, I was going to die. It hurt so much, right? And that's why I was self-medicating. But the music thing was only it was a symptom of something even deeper, of not being able to have what I want, not being good enough. Those are the real issues underneath all the little surface structures, as we call it in NLP. So I just wanted to share that with you today. There's a lot of content here, and I could unpack this, and probably take a whole day working on this idea. But recognize that if you are even watching this, you have a purpose problem, and somehow you have found me. Somehow, through the course of your trying to solve the problem or work on yourself, you've been led here. That's significant. Notice it. I may not be your ultimate final teacher or coach. You may end up not even working with me. But the point is, you're on a journey. And to stop fighting the problem as if it's evil, because the problem itself is causing you to do the deep work that ultimately will make your life incredible, magical. Because unless we do this deep work, we're just going through the motions, people. We're as the Toltecs say, we've been domesticated by our culture to be a certain way, to get the good job, to get the benefits, to be a loving mother or loving father, and to sacrifice for your children, and all these different things. They're not wrong, they're not bad, but ultimately, if you go beneath the surface, you're going to find that you eat because you are hurting, you are miserable, and you don't have to be. But ultimately, only you can make the deep changes and the commitment to working on you. That's going to ultimately open up your life in the most magical way. And I'm not saying it's always going to be easy. I can't say that. That would not be ethical or honest of me. I have struggled. I have come, I have beaten my head against a wall until finally I realized I had to either climb over the wall, dig under it, go around it, or get some big darn dynamite and blow that thing. And to me, that's what the tools are. The tools are merely the tools. It's the spirit here that's saying, hey, pay attention. You could be creating an incredible life right now. And the only thing that's stopping you is your thoughts, your beliefs, your habits, your routines, your self-pity, your being a victim, all of those different things. And again, this is not a judgment at all. This is saying, hey, there's something bigger going on here than just losing some pounds so you can look good in a dress on your daughter's wedding day. That's important too, but there's something deeper going on. It's not about how good we look in our bikinis. Ultimately, we are here for a limited time only. This is a limited time engagement, people. And ultimately, we leave these bodies behind. However, truly living in the body today, that's amazing. That is an amazing thing. So I know I went too long. I know you probably haven't even listened to this, but I had to share it. You have a purpose problem, and that's probably what brought you here. Stop fighting the fact that you have a problem and embrace it. Thank it. Be grateful for it. Because that problem is going to just nag you until you finally do something about it. And then you're going to have to do more about it and more about it. And eventually you're going to look back and go, wow, that was truly the best thing that ever happened to me. But you'll have to make that decision. I can't tell you that and have you actually take it in. But someday you'll look back. You will look back and you'll see how far you've come. And I hope that I've helped you on your journey. I hope I can be there when you're looking back so I can cheer you on to the next step, the next level. But regardless, I am on your side and I believe in you, and I believe that you have the power to create a life, a body, a career, a relationship that you absolutely adore. As long as you're willing to dig in and go for it. Thanks so much. Mark Shepard, over and out. HypnosisAlbany.com. It's not just about the food.com. CrushAnxiety.com. I have more. But it's all about personal transformation. It's all about healing. It's all about creating your life as your art form. So thanks so much. Over now. Bye.